I am an idiot, and I'm here with Mr. Brian Horton.
What's up, folks? And we already knew you were an idiot, Brad. It was just you're good at 40K, so we do these things.
Hello. I've got stuff and things to say. Most of them are going to be right, some will be wrong. There you go. Summing up my life. We've got...
So, of course, with summing up your life, it's like, man, did you see the stuff about Imperial Knights today? And I went, what stuff? And he was like, in White Dwarf, the article. And I'm like, the combat patrol where they said you could take 2 armigers? Woohoo!
Fine. If you're going to be like that, I don't think that you want to bother with that. Here's my thing about Knights, and I have no issue with Knights. My problem with Knights is any of the skew armies, especially when you get into something like Combat Patrol, when you've got 2 models, someone's gonna not have a great time. You know what I mean? One person or the other. You're either gonna hit some shit with thermal cannons and it blows up, or you're gonna do nothing and die. You know, it's just, I don't know.
I mean, and with Combat Patrol being like, hey, this is how you build it. It looked like from the image that they put up that you're pretty much getting an Arminger, a War Dog, and then 2 of the Chaos ones, which I don't remember the names of off the top of my head because I don't play against them enough. And again, it fun, yes. In Combat Patrol, there's going to be a few of the armies that currently just can't deal with them, which will be very strange. So.
Now, here's the thing that we got to talk about. Should we talk meta in the weekend first? Or should we watch the Astartes II trailer?
Let's do the meta and then let's have fun.
All right, fine. If you're going to be like that. What's going on, Ed? Hi, Anna. Chance, what's going on? We had all kinds of mojo. Nick Rose calling me midstream. You know what? I'm going to answer this because I haven't talked to Nick. Nick, I'm in the middle of a stream. I haven't heard from you in forever. I'm answering this call as we stream because I didn't know if you were alive. We were just talking about you this weekend. You must have heard your ears burning. But I'm going to call you back. All right.
So, of course, the meta is in a strange yet wonderful spot, in my opinion, to where we've got a little bit of everything going on. For the first time in a while, Chaos Demons are one of the, I shouldn't say in a while, for the last few weeks, Chaos Demons have been in a strong spot. A lot of people say that they could be the best army in the game.
Excess bangs. The problem is that I think Excess is perfectly fine. I love it in teams. I know that people yell at me because I bring up teams a lot, but like, if you can just avoid certain matchups, Excess is like being able to just go, hey, I want to make sure that your tanks get soccer tossed in another dimension of suck. Yeah, that's amazing. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you're playing the other hard-hitting, like straight melee armies, it doesn't feel as great because you don't get as much of a bonus. But man, when you don't have to worry about that, just the reliability of all those rerolls is crazy. Answering calls the stream is a pro bad move. To be fair, I hadn't talked to Nick in forever. We brought him up this weekend and he randomly called and I was like, you know what? I want him to know because he knows that I'm also streaming the same time every week on Monday.
Ed, definitely going to see you in a couple weeks as we have the Golden Sprue GT.
Uh-oh, wait a second. We've got a Lyle Dixon with a $5 super chat. How the fuck do we have someone who was the best demon player in the world last year on our team? Demons are the best army, and we aren't playing demons? We keep trying to push Lyle with a Kalile. That's the combination of Lyle and Kyle forming into an amalgamation of insanity. But Kyle has not, for whatever reason, has not been big on just slamming down the demons. I don't know why. I think that the Demons of Excess are fantastic in teams. You can really cherry pick, and I think that you can put up huge numbers. The things that Excess is good into, they just rickroll them. You know, if you don't have the proper stat check to deal with them, that army's so fast. They've got that layered effect too, because they jam up in you. They've got the shenanigans with the Daemonettes, but they've got the Seekers and, or I'm sorry, the Fiends rocket in. They're trying to just grab you and keep you in combat, so you can't, shoot the big shit on its way over. But they've got that layered effect, and if they can get to you and just jam you in, by the time you get done digging your way out, if you can at all, a lot of times you haven't scored any points, man. And, you're sitting on, top of 4 and you go, hey, is my primary score, let's see, carry the 1, 0?
0?
Yeah, that's fucking tough to come back from, dude. And we got Kyle Treya in the house. He says he's not interested in demons right now because they're too difficult for him to play. But Demons of Excess are like, that's legit. I mean, especially in teams. Like I said, in singles, you're gonna find things that just counter you pretty hard. You don't have
Gitley just named Legions of Excess.
Fiends with benefits. Oh, dude, that is fantastic.
Going forward, 100% calling it that.
Done. Fiends with benefits winning the big Spain tournament. But the thing is that when it loses, they don't have a real great way to just get over idiots in front of you. So if you can put a couple waves of morons in front of this army, and then you have some damage behind that, it has problems. You know what I mean? However, it hits hard. I think that it maximizes the use of some of its slightly overcosted demons. I still think that the keepers and stuff should be slightly lower.
I think most of the demon stuff's in a good spot. I actually think the big demons are fine, because they're just like a lot of the other monsters. I think they're fine. I think they fall in line. Their speed, their abilities, they seem fine. We'll see how they fit into Emperor's Children in a few months, because that'll be the telltale sign again of more new stuff affecting older units. So we'll see where that falls. But I think demons are in a fine spot. I think that they're at a 54% win rate. I think that makes them perfectly acceptable and fine.
Look at this top, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. We talked about a lot about this, but it really hits it down. Like, this tournament itself has, hey, do you play 40K? What do you have? Cool. You can be in the top 15 with it. Yep. It just has everything.
Yeah. And we'll just continue on, because I kind of like his takeaways this week.
Yeah. Let's go down to the takeaways. Yeah. Well, let's just rock down, because we had a lot of different stuff winning, and we'll start at the top takeaways, because it's got demons. Demons, 54% win rate, seven event wins over the last 5 weeks. It's legit. Legion of Excess has been leading the way. Sorry, Fiends with benefits has been leading the way. So I think that this has a really big... Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, I think Chaos Demons are... Like, there's a few people who think that the Legion of Excess is a little too good. I just think that if you don't understand what it does, you get caught off guard. If you know what it does, you can play around some of the tricks. And it's not that bad. It's a solid army. It makes demons feel like demons when you're playing Mono God.
I like that they're doing... There's 2 things that I really, really enjoy that are coming out right now. The fact that they're putting faction demons in the faction books, and that they've now got benefits for bringing mono faction demons. Because if you're bringing demons, if you're bringing chaos, and you don't have Abaddon, or I guess Fulgrim, not Fulgrim, Pruderabo or somebody. If you don't have somebody that's just known to be leading undivided troops, Chaos doesn't get along, man. You know what I mean? I hate the fact that we've had too many codices of Chaos and Chaos Demons where everybody's kumbayaing. Hey, man, I've always been good friends with Slash and Korn. What? Get the f out of here. That's nonsense. Pepperidge Farms remembers when if you had your 2 demons different demon mark units on the board, they would attack each other if they got too close.
That was a while ago. But anyway, so then we got Necrons. Then we got Necrons coming in at a 53% win rate with Shatterstar at 56. So just above the magic number that GW likes to call there. And they've won events. in 5 of the last 6 weeks. I think Necrons just continually are a solid army. They're going to always be in that 49 to 55% win rate area. They have good data sheets, and they're enjoyable to play.
Star Shadow is another one of those things that's very scissors paper rock, because if you bring some tanks against that army, they just do magic tricks with them. That +1 to wound and the +1 to hit and everything goes a long way. So like when they meet the things that they're good against, it's a big deal on that. However, there's a lot of beatability to it. That list is beatable, and that goes a long way on that. The only thing about the meta that I do hear a criticism on, and I'm kind of okay with it, is we do have a lot of scissors paper rock right now where certain things beat other things. But I'm pretty okay with that, to be perfectly honest with you. It makes list building for tournaments harder, but I like the challenge of that. Maybe that's just me.
So I think you'll notice that a lot of armies that can do take all are doing better.
Yeah.
Like demons have the ability to kill tanks and kill infantry and to kill other monsters, right? Necrons have some stuff that kills infantry. It has some stuff that kills vehicles and monsters. Imperial Knights, who have been doing okay as of late, have that same ability. Space Marines, they are the best of the all-arounds. They're doing well. And the armies that don't have great all-around are suffering. Sisters, Grey Knights, Orcs, suffering right now just because of they can't quite do everything.
They also lost so much stuff. We talked about it already, but Sisters has such a harder time now because they have so much less shit in their army.
Yeah. They look, if you're going to hit them, if you're going to double hit them in one swing, which is what happened to them, they got a points increase and they got Miracle Dice nerfed. It could have been one or the other, and then saw where it's shaken out. And if it needed to be done, hit it with the other part. I have a feeling as we come back around to what should be early March, when they do get a points increase, a points change, I assume they're going to get a points change. They'll lower the Triumph back down, not to where it was, but they'll bring it back in line. They'll probably lower Battle Sisters, Retributors, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
They just need their trash to be trash pointed. That's one of the main problems is they have their trash is not pointed effectively. I could see the elite stuff, but like again, any of those units that, the T3 one moon models, you can have cool shit on them, but like if they're priced too high, it becomes so inefficient to trade, do things. So speaking of trading and doing things, how the hell are Imperial Knights just randomly cruising through this meta where there is tank busters galore, and tank busters and orcs? They're still there. We'll talk about them later. But I'm saying, like, you've got double oath with +1 to wound. You've got Shatterstar. You've got so many armies out there, and they make up a lot of the games played.
GW terrain allows you to hide.
Yeah, it's just, man, the night player, well played night players, because this is a meta where people are just going, hey, you got a tank? I brought 700 things to kill you. And they're just continuing to rock really, really excellent win percentages. So, well done, Knights.
Yeah, and Chaos Knights are suffering as well as Sisters. I think Orcs are in a fine spot with the, tactical, however you want to say that, brigade. And they're struggling a hair here and there, but the better Orc players are pulling up that win rate on that, which is nice.
Tactics is high ceiling, low floor. I think I was just talking about this today. I was coaching Orcs today. And one of the biggest things about Orcs, and when you're looking at the detachments next to each other, if you just take Warhorde and Tactics with each other, I think Warhorde probably has a higher floor but a lower ceiling, even when you're talking bringing a lot of junk with each list, because you're more melee, you're safer with, having sustained all the time, having, built-in 100% fight on death, things of that nature, mean that you can get easier trades. Tactics just gives you so many options of shenanigans. Plus, it's got so many rerolls and the +1 to hit. And when are you using the double on that? I think that Tactics is very, very fun. And I think that they're in a better spot right now than Warhorde because we have such a heavy tank meta right now. And the best way to take care of the tanks, besides the beast bosses, of course, punting things in the sun, always take at least 2, is you've got things that came out now. You've got the tank busters, you know what I mean? You've got that +1 to hit. You've got the shock attack guns coming back in. You've got full rerolls on the enhancement. So you're able to actually pick up some of that stuff at range and from reserve reliably without people being able to just screen you. Because right now it's tough when you're playing Warhorde and you want to get to the tanks and somebody can just put, 10 Cadians in front of you. And you're kind of like, that sucks. You just show up with your tank busters and go, hey, cool guardsman, sweet, I'm shooting the tank behind you. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and speaking of that guard, as their new book rolls out on the 22nd, officially, like in the app and available in store,
champions,
they're sitting in a good spot. I think they're going to be fine. They're going to be, at least according to the guard players that I've talked to, they're like, yeah, they got a bunch of different detachments. All of them are playable. You're running the same 1,200 points in all of those detachments, but they look super fun. One of the big in that aspect.
100%. Also, Eldar wins because their book randomly comes out before the Guard book came out. I don't know how that worked out. I think that Guard are in a great spot because I also think that they counter, with the proper build, of course, they counter Eldar very well.
Mm-hmm. And I think Eldar completely shake up the meta because there's some things you're going to have to now take into account for.
Oh, the backflipping fire dragons into wave serpents that blow up 2 or 3 tanks at a go. You got to be able to remove that stuff, and you got to have more screens. And that's one of the biggest things is a lot of these armies coming out. I mean, Eldar plays like Eldar again, but Eldar also doesn't have screens for shit. So you got to be able to push them back when they get out. Well, it's still a bunch of dudes with T3 1 wound.
And understanding how to use that, please don't blow me up with Flamer's Overwatch strat or Overwatch ability is going to be big for Eldar. I think that's actually the playing that properly and using the tactics of it are going to become one of the keys to that army, because I think you're going to start seeing more torrent weapons, that hit automatically to counteract some of that stuff.
But I think you're also just going to see a lot of people just bring. Eldar is looking to take out your elite shit most of the time. If you just grab them with trash, they don't have a lot of anti-trash that's not specifically designed to also kill your elite shit. You know what I mean? Because they're points. I think they did a good job on their points. You don't get, when you're making an Eldar list, and I made a lot of them, you end up feeling like you don't have enough other shit in your list. You got enough to do wild damage, but if you're putting nonsense on them, they're going to have a hard time. Also, mortars are their natural enemy.
Yep.
You're like, hey.
And I think Guard help keep Eldar in check.
Oh, 100%.
Because you're going to have several hundred points of indirect fire in Guard lists. And that's just going to keep them in check.
Just tell them to make, and that's the thing. You don't even need AP on that. Just tell them to make either 3 or 4 up saves. Just go, okay.
Dorian, your nids into Eldar. I'm actually working on right now painting some of my anti-Eldar tech.
Nice.
Because these are, a little bit of a bane to a couple of the Eldar things. And hey, guess what? They're super cheap in points. And they're annoying.
Terry, I love me some Shadow Weavers. Nothing makes me happier than hitting something with a Shadow Weaver and watching them roll a couple ones and killing guys while they move. It's not even the most effective thing. It just makes me happy. Especially when you hit like big hordes of things. You're like, oh, you're bringing assimilation dids? Cool, roll 20 dice. You're like, is this going to change the game that much? No, but it makes me full of joy to watch you kill your models in your movement phase.
Yep. It's going to be, I think the meta with the 2 new books dropping and then a third one shortly hereafter. The meta is getting another shakeup. The consistent, I don't want to say roller coaster of meta change because it's kind of like a roller coaster every once in a while, but it makes the game change when we've had the Pariah Nexus, which feels like forever at this point. To be fair, and the ability to have a consistent rolling lists of changing and points and everything else, it's been kind of fun. I actually have found it kind of invigorating to go, all right, I need to change my list up because this, and this are now prevalent.
I love that, but also I spent a lot of time with 40K over the week. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm going to go to the Meta Monday on this one. He goes, but are Eldar the new mid-table bullies? Will it be easy for them to go 3-2? Eldar are going to get bad touched inappropriately because they're going to feel unfair at mid-tables oftentimes, because if you don't bring appropriate screens, if you run up your guard army that's just Leman Russes and Rogals, and you will just get your army deleted. But the Eldar are going to play kind of like old Eldar did, which is wild high ceiling at the top and really low floor, though, because the wheels can fall off the wagon pretty hard on Eldar, because you also have way less shit than you used to. You have so many less units. So yes, you've got all this new battle focus, you've got this super damage, you've got some really great stuff, but like as a whole, you have less shit, man. So like you make a couple bad decisions, you could go. So I'm expecting to see a crazy difference in what people perceive Eldar as and what they actually achieve on the table, because there's going to be times when they're going to go 6-0 and bury people. Mid-table, they're going to have multiple times where the game's over on turn 2 or 3, and there's also going to be a ton of times when the Eldar players are going to be pissed because somebody indirected them off the board and did 2 or 3 charges with Gene Stealer Cult and picked up 80% of their army. So you're going to have this wild roller coaster of perceived what they are right now.
And with Eldar, I have a feeling like the top players with Eldar, yourself, Maiden, Quentin, and a bunch of other people who are very good with Eldar, they're going to do really, really well, right? But your standard mid-table guy who goes to 1 or 2 GTs a year, he's going to make a mistake, and then that punishment and the loss that you take from that is going to be brutal. It is, in many, many ways, a very unforgiving army if you don't do every step correctly.
Oh, 100%. You're also going to have your mechanics down pat. Pete and I, when I say Pete and I bitched about it. He made sure he ordered. They have all the new tokens you can get when you order your Eldar. I say this all the time for armies. I can't state if you're playing with or against. Also, I should put the site up again for the blank dry erasers, the small ones. Mark your shit. It will help you become a better player. You'll have less arguments in your games. But it is, don't argue over your toys when you don't need to. It's just so easy.
Buy some inexpensive poker chips on one of the 8million.coms. Get some stickers, put a sticker on there, put what the ability is and what it does. It's not that hard. It'll save you a lot of heartache.
Alex in the house after getting his first GT win this weekend with Shatterstar Necrons.
Congratulations, Alex.
Crushing it out. Well done.
And I guess we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that Brandon had a very good showing with his Dark Angel bike.
He won with his GT. It was hilarious because he's up in Canada, in Guam, Canada. I'm pretty sure that's a place. Yeah. And he was hemming and hawing whether he was going to take his bike list. And I go, Brandon, you love your bikes. Just take them. You'll do fine. And then he ended up going 6-0 and rocking it out. Man. Got that Canadian GT win.
Awesome. Congratulations, Brandon. It's tough to go to what is for you an entirely new meta and an entirely new area and rock out. And I know Canada loves their WTC
Yep.
terrain layouts and missions. So congratulations. That's a tough go. Good for you.
He shot the shit out of them. I want to talk about Marines first, and then I want to talk about, well, the bottom of the meta for a second.
All right.
So, Marines. Marines do have they're never going to be unbelievably high in their win rates unless they have something bananas broken that everybody can see immediately, because a lot of people, it's the most played army period. You know what I mean? GW sells more Marines than they sell anything else combined. You know what I mean? So you're always going to see Marines out there. So the fact that they have a 50% win rate, but they have a lot of tournament wins, I think Marines are in a really great place. I think that right now, if you're going to a tournament, you have to answer the question of, what am I doing against Pew Pew Marines? What am I doing against Triple Vindicator, some other tanks, probably Double Oath, and some hand-to-hand with some company heroes? That's just a real list. I mean, you also have to deal with the Vanguard, but it's mainly the shooty Marines. There are cough people like myself that are bringing melee Marines because I can't help myself from trying to punch things, because it's more fun to punch than it is to shoot. That's science right there, everyone.
I agree with you, but I mean, you got to look. There's the Blood Angels list that are doing very, very well. There's the not Blood Angel armies with the extra, with the
oath bonus. Bringing it this weekend. Screw that! I'm talking about this now. Snig's got us do it. So Snig's basically is like, hey, we own all of this shit. Get over here. We're gonna finish painting. Of course, painted him in the Salamander paint scheme that we already had going on, and we completed it. I say we, it's mostly me, but a lot of Snigs. He did make me so sad. I'm at his house yesterday, and I'm painting this up. We're trying to get everything ready, and he puts them in front of me. This is belts, this is chest, this is the backs, blah blah blah. And I'm doing the models, and I'm trying to, I'm doing all the belts, and then I'm doing all the boots, and then I'm doing all blah, blah, blah. And I look over and I get a couple done, and then I look over and he had been doing something and then tried to, start doing the same models I'm doing. And every single one of his models was about 100,000 times better and took half the time. And I was like, man, I suck and I do it slowly.
But here's the thing, Brad. At least now you're doing, and practice makes perfect.
I still have a good time doing it. I mean, this is the first time that I was trying to do something with a time limit. You know what I mean? But we had plenty of time. We were just hanging out. We were watching this new thing on Netflix where the guy's an ex-assassin. Now he got all fat, but he's still the best dude ever. It's an anime. It was fantastic. It was hilarious. It was unbelievably hilariously bad and good at the same time.
So, what's your thoughts on the bottom of the meta, Brad?
Talked about Sisters a little bit already. I just think Sisters needs the biggest change I think I need for Sisters, because they got hit with too many things. And again, GW looks at things not with multiplicative. They always look at it as additive. It's not this plus this plus this, it's this times most of the time. You know what I mean? It's the synergy going together. It's the numbers that happen. I think that they need to probably take a lot of the cheat dice mechanics just out of the game period, but I'm not even going to get into that. They need their trash units to be trash priced. Too much of their stuff still has premium costs on it for things. I think regular sister squads should be dirt cheap. Let them have a ton of the sister squads. Those are supposed to be all over the place. When you talk about a sisters army, they have a ton of just actual battle sisters squads. We're the bread and butter of that army, and they're few and far between now. And there's a reason for that. You know what I mean? Why would I not take any of the 4 other squads that are 1,000,000 times better that cost 5 points more? You know what I mean? So they have to make that differentium right there. And I think that they just need more stuff, period. When you've got armies, again, the T3 armies with 1 wound, and that's a big deal, by the way. The T3 combo with 1 wound, because every save means some threat is gone. I think that those have to have more just stuff, in them.
Absolutely.
Give it stuff that doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? Very limited on this. Kind of like old tactical Marines were when they were just cheap and they could only have, 1 short, 1 long range weapon. But they were cheap enough to want to take things of that nature. They need that. Now, the one that I want to talk about, because I don't get it as much, I understand that there's differences on it, but like, why are Chaos Knights in the dumpster while Imperial Knights are winning?
That's real easy. Canis Rex.
You think just even he got nerfed still?
He's still super good.
Yes, but man,
he's really good. He's a difference maker of a model, and Chaos Knights just don't have that difference maker model.
I don't know. I feel like they have very similar gameplays, and one's been doing perfectly fine, and the other one is just circling the drain.
Again, I think it's Canis Rex combined with a little bit on the rerolls, and Battle Shock. It's either amazing when you use it, or it's
really that's true. I mean, Battle Shock. Important.
So
it doesn't do anything a lot. So
if when you were Battle Shocked, this is a Brian going off on a tangent. I think Battle Shock should be can't reroll. If you take rerolls away from Battle Shocked units along with the other stuff it currently has, hey, guess what? Battle Shock comes a lot more important when you are Battle Shocked.
Well, it does something. I mean,
yeah.
The only time Battle Shock matters at all is when you're Battle Shocking something on the turn they're trying to score. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. I like Assimilation Nids, by the way.
I do too.
No credit until sure. Yeah. The fact that he has the ejector seat James Bond style is a big thing. But it's annoying when you don't get the credit for killing him because he's like, later chumps. Pew!
Yep.
Backflip. Smoke bomb. But I don't know. Chaos Knights don't have a well, Chaos Knights did get the worst. You fight me on this. Who got a worse Grotmus detachment than Chaos Knights?
No one.
That thing was. They hit it out of the park for the most part in Absolutely. The Grotmus detachments. Not even giving them shit.
Anna might. I actually think it's a tie, at least in my opinion. Anna, I agree with you. T-Sun's one is awful too because
no, but it wasn't awful. It was bad compared to the Cold of Magic's amazing.
Yeah,
the T-Sun's detachment wasn't a travesty. It was just clearly not as good as Cold of Magic. The Chaos Knight detachment is worse than having no rules. It's fucking terrible. Yep. Oh, the Wolves one, no. The Wolves one was meh, very meh, probably less than meh.
It was meh,
but it wasn't. This makes your army actively worse.
Quentin, I don't think that Imperial Agents detachment was a detachment. You're probably right at pointing that one out. That is.
I don't even remember that one. I forgot.
It's the one that the only thing that gets anything is the assassins.
Oh yeah, and they also have to take those huge auto enhancements if you take them too.
Yeah,
that are super expensive. All right, you got me on that one. I don't even think that's an attachment.
I forgot that one.
Wow, that wasn't even an attachment. That was a
is that even has anyone even run that yet?
Oh God, no, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
who's running like a 200-point assassin?
I mean, Imperial Agents are a faction. They have some very good trash gameplay. Unfortunately, they're priced a little too expensive to play that trash gameplay.
But if you modeled every guy as Judge Dredd, it would be worth it. Also, KR, you're completely right. Like and subscribe. 34 minutes in. That's pretty good for us.
Yeah, there's nights we do better, but yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, the first night back was still our best night. We got the 54 minutes or something. I was like we should call it a night. You're like, oh, wait a second. You should like and subscribe. Man.
I mean, looking at the data, right? Looking at all the detachments and all the armies, the stuff that needs the uptick right now, right? Chaos Space Marines, they got hit a little bit too firm.
Bile's
right?
really good, and Raiders is still good though.
Bile's good. It's better in teams, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, you're
And
not wrong.
Raiders is still good, but it's better in teams. I just think that they need some point adjustments a little bit to bring them back in line with what some of the other stuff is. But I think otherwise they'll be fine. I mean, we'll see where that lands. Chaos Knights, I think that's a waiting for the book kind of thing. I don't think there's a whole lot. Point wise, you can't do a ton because if you lower them too much,
they become oppressive.
They become oppressive. Sisters is 100%. Hey, we double nerfed you, and
yeah,
they need to align the points now with what Miracle Dice are. And
I'm going back to Orcs because Meta wants us to.
Absolutely.
Joe, well, we hear and we hear, we saw, we read. I don't know. Pick whatever you want. Orcs. Orcs are winning right now, and they're winning events because at the top level, kind of like we were talking about Eldar, but like the list that we're taking right now is three big mechs with shock attack guns attached to 3 units of why can't I talk? 3 units of dudes that kill vehicles.
Tank busters.
Tank busters. Jesus, Brad. I told you this is why I'm dying tonight, Brian. 3 units of tank busters. Then I've got a 10-man unit of flash kits with Captain Badrock. Oh, I don't care that he's not in the game anymore. You give a big mech with mega armor, full rerolls, and you put him in a flash kit unit, that's Captain Badrock, damn it. Captain Badrock's in that unit. Full rerolls, hitting on 4s, 4-up invuln on the squad, bringing back a dude a turn. If you use that right, you can use it. You can start him in a truck. It has lots of utility. The Overwatch, when it's outside of the truck, is really nice. I still think for Orcs, 2 units of 5 flash kits is probably the best trash cleaners in the entire game. 20 shots plus 20 attacks picks up whatever the hell's in front of it that's nonsense. And then you've got, then you've got multiple Stormboy units. I still think that Zod with a 22-man can be a game breaker. It can actually win you games sometimes. You play Search and Destroy and go first. You're playing an all-tank army, somebody that's just all vehicles, and you just go, oh, cool, I'm going to touch everything, and you're not going anywhere for basically a turn, possibly 2. That army has lots of play. The reason that its win percentage is always going to hover and go back around is because Brian and I right now are wearing the premium orc armor. So you make a goof, you get caught out of the open, and all of a sudden you're like, so this jersey's probably not going to stop that bolter round, huh? Nope. So
and I mean that's one of the things with orcs is you measure everything out, you figure it out, and in your head you're like, this is the game plan and this is what I do, and then you're like, oh, I miscalculated your movement over there, and you can draw a line of sight to this unit, and it's over. That unit's now dead. And you've lost a key piece to your army that you need for later rounds. It becomes tough, and you have to realize that sometimes with orcs, you got to do a lot of scoring early, and you got to spend that CP to cycle when you get bad 100%. Secondaries.
And the thing is that you really have to play them score, deny. You know, they put up a lot of points. Most of my art games have me looking like I'm getting tabled almost every single time. But I've just sent so much stuff. You've got a lot of OC on that army too. You know what I mean? Between Beast Snaggers and Gretchen being OC2 and having all those squads all over the place, you've got the real ability to steal things. Stormboys, one of the units, the list that I've been playing had 4 Stormboys in it, and it felt great. I put 2 on the board and 2 up in the air. I really enjoy playing tactics. It has lots of play. It way worse than elves. The wheels can just the wheels don't even fall off the wagon. The wheels are equipped in dynamite and blow up sometimes, but it has a very high ceiling. Dorian, I love everything you're saying. Sorry, Brian, go ahead.
I think one of the nice parts of the tactic orcs is that once you figure out, because not an easy army to play, right? You have to figure out the layers and how to move, what vehicles to use properly, how to move your trucks, how to use the terrain to your advantage. And once you figure all that out, it's good, but you're also paying a high character tax in that army.
Huge.
So
Huge character
so
tax.
every once in a while, when the wheels fall off, that game just feels like, oh, that spiraled out of control quickly. And then
Yeah.
you have to figure out how to mitigate your loss, which is sometimes really hard with orcs.
And the thing is that you have to play a very careful game when you're talking about most tournaments. I would say most tournaments. The majority of tournaments have Purge as one of their missions. And that's just a shit mission for orcs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I said the same thing, Andy.
Yeah, I think Imperial Knight players have figured out how to play their armies, which is a good thing because most Imperial Knight players play Imperial Knights and not a whole lot else. So they get better and better at playing their army. As I've continually said, being a faction specialist helps you out immensely, especially in an open meta.
Yeah, like Brian Jones and those guys like just randomly do well all the time with that. So it's just there's real things on that. So I don't know. The Imperial Knight's just rocking. I still don't understand why it's both. Maybe they don't have Chaos Knight Specialist. It's just like you have Imperial Knight Specialist and you have Chaos Knight Traders, I guess. So OC8 on the night. I mean, OC a lot on the Knights is a thing. It's just the Knights never surprise me in a regular meta because they play like a very roller coastery. But it's just in a meta right now where people are just bringing all of the tank destruction with the Marines, double oath Marines, Shatterstar Necrons and stuff like that. It's just I'm impressed that the Imperial Knights are still putting up numbers because man, there's so many armies that can just insta one shot you. Whew.
Yep.
Dabblers and they're chaos dabblers. But I think it's a big deal in that. Like I still think that you're going to see fucking Guard put up some big numbers. Yep. I don't think that this heavy tank armies are going to be the winners. I still think that Bridgehead, even with the new stuff, still you lose the Krieg block, but man, you can put some other stuff in there. Also, I'm still a big fan. The Roald Dorn tank commanders are super expensive, but those guys like bang bust. Whew. They don't fuck around.
I think it's going to be. I think that Guard and Eldar are going to have some high win rates out the gate, but that'll come back down as people understand and learn how to deal with the situations that they'll get put in.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of remember when we first had Panoptic Necrons come out and they had this wild win rate and they got the most mild of nerfs, but the nerf I don't think was what pulled them down. It just everybody started to understand how to play against the army and then their win rate just crashed into the floor.
Tao's from the wall. Tao's doing okay. I think Tao's in a spot where they just semi-unnerfed Retcad. That'll help them out. Their new detachment's a little wonky and people are learning how to use it. I actually think the auxiliary cadre is pretty solid. It's definitely a big one.
Root Potty. Still love that detachment.
Yep.
It's good. I think Tau are fine. I think the problem with Tau, I'll tell you the exact problem with Tau. Tau is a fair codex. And it was always a fair codex. And it's been fair throughout every single one of the data sheets and the nerfs and everything. It's never been bad, but it's never been broken. It's just been good. It's just been fine. The problem is that people usually tend to jump from broken thing to broken thing. Tau's always been good. Never broken this edition so far. So, Custodes hurt now with new Eldar. Solar looks bad versus them. Yes. The fact that they have the strat for ignoring armor, contempt, and damage reduction means that things like Dark Reapers can just delete them. That doesn't even start with fire dragons. You know what I mean? So I'd love to see Brandon rock his Kroot. I think that I think the Kroot detachment's actually underrated because I think what you do is you bring 850 to 900 points of Kroot shit. And then you just make a Tau army after that. And you end up with 60 to 80 Kroot, and then you end up with 3 sets of 2 because holy shit, taking 2 Kroot riders for 60 points is 60 points for 10 wounds. T6, just legit. They also have a lot of attacks, so I think they're fine. Like I said, I think that detachment's underrated. You can really steal a Kruger battle line. You know what I mean? You can do a lot of denial, and it's hard to take care of the Tau shooting when you've got a big mountain of idiots in front of you, where they stay away, stay away, stay away, and while they're doing the stay away game, they're also denying your primary game. So you'll kill all the Tau in 3 turns. You know what I mean? Probably, yeah. Let me say 3. So 3 turns it takes you to kill all the Tau, but you've probably gotten the primary score of your home field objective. You know what I mean? So like they've been shooting you the entire time from range. I think they're good. Taylor, 100%. I don't like the fact that you get a negative for splitting fire. I just think that you shouldn't get the positive. You know what I mean? I do think I don't like that.
So as we have kind of covered, I think the majority of the meta, I think something dropped this week that is just going to be fun for us to watch and talk about for a few seconds.
I'm on it.
So if you haven't seen, and everyone says, GW doesn't like Firstborn anymore. I think we have something that's going to make you disagree with that.
Bam. Brad's on it. I even made it full screen. This is so badass.
I'm so happy with it. If it decides it wants to play. Maybe.
Could be playing right now.
Yeah, it's going. Can't hear it though.
God damn it! It says you can hear it. I can hear it.
Brad's so good with technology.
A wizard. This looks cool, does it not?
Oh, now you can hear it. Apparently it was my YouTube being grumpy.
Dude, tell me those capes don't look badass!
Oh, they look amazing!
Come on, if you don't like that, you don't like fun.
Coming down the hall with the jetpack is just awesome.
I mean, yeah, yes, and more yes. Also, yeah. What's up with the fact that heavy bolters look freaking ludicrous in every single time they show them in videos and stuff? They just look crazy. Like, I want to play some heavy bolters. I play them in the game. They're like, they're all right. in every video game, the heavy bolters come out and just murder shit. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Astartes just looks awesome. I mean, that's just having fun and having a good time. And my hope is with them, because a lot of people continually say, I mean, I work in a store, so I hear this all the time. They're going to discontinue Primaris Marines, or Firstborn is the next thing. And I'm like, man, they sell a lot of Firstborn stuff. I mean, I watch them go out the door every week. Yes, they sell a lot of Primaris too, but Marines just sell. I mean, I sell Predators, Vindicators, Rhino/Razorbacks almost on a every other day basis. I mean, it's crazy the amount of stuff that goes.
You know what I wish I was better at? Any of these shooty games. I suck so bad.
Yeah.
If you give me time.
The last time that Brad was good at a video game, the line was, Green Warrior needs food badly.
It's hilarious because if you give me time, you give me a turn-based game, I'll wreck your soul, boy. If you make me do things quick, my old crimpy hands are like, a strong hand. God damn it. Probability with $2 super chat. Can't get out of here without a go blue. I got spam sent the compilation of me saying "Go Blue" into every inbox I possibly have a couple weeks ago. It's like, God damn it!
I mean, but here's the nice part about it is they did, beat the national champions. So
That game can go to hell.
but here's the thing: they also didn't win the national championship.
I don't. I'm not a hater. I just want my team to win. I don't give a shit over it, and I want the Big Ten to win. I mean, let's roll Tide. There was nothing that made me happier than Michigan beating Alabama and everybody going, "What the hell just happened?"
That's because Alabama just wasn't an organized team this year. When you lose one of the greatest coaches ever, things are going to happen.
They should just keep running at their one All-American fucking lineman. To be fair.
So, Brad, you have a thing this weekend.
I'm going
headed down to Juices.
Down to Juices, North Carolina. Hang out with the Battle Brothers guys. Gemhammer's coming down. There's a bunch of teams coming down there for a team tournament. It's a 5-man event. If you get a chance to go to Juice's place, I highly recommend it. It's on a golf resort. It's a really nice place. It's really fun. One of the big thing, I know I harp on it, but like, he has really reasonable food and alcohol, and that goes a long way to having a good time because you're not breaking the bank. When you go someplace, it's a big deal on that. You don't want to come home and go, "Welp, I guess I'll get a second mortgage on the house. I went to a tournament." You want to have a good time and just chill. And I'm going down to this, and we're trying to win the tournament, of course, but like, I'm just super happy to hang out, have some drinks, have some food. I want to eat too much. I want to drink too much. And I want to have a ton of fucking laughs. You know what I mean? That's the thing. There you go. Kyle says we're going to win it. Also, I, as usual, did not plan for this. And I was just like, I'll just get a flight like I did last year. And I forgot that Kyle used to live in North Carolina. So I flew into Raleigh. He picked me up and took me where we were going. This year, I was like, I'll just get a flight. And I realized that there's no good place to fly into. Every place is like an hour or so off where we're driving down. So now I'm stuck in a goddamn van with Team Cheese Dick Gopher Penis or something, whatever the hell fucking Lyle made up as our name this time. Driving, I think it's 72 hours or something. We're going straight to hell. We're going to the 9th plane of hell, and we're going to do pairings the entire time.
Well, Brad, what's nice is coming up in June, you won't have to drive that far.
You know what we have in June? We have the Motor City Majors, sponsored, put on by, I don't know, whatever it is. We are doing stuff. I just wanted it to be the 40K Lorecast Major. John fucked it up. But 40K Lorecast is putting on a major June 6th, 7th, and 8th in Detroit. It's actually in Southfield, I think. It's a $40 Uber from the airport. How about that? It's super easy to get to. I'm hoping that everybody wants to show up. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have good price support. We're arguing right now. I'm getting a bus made right now for trophies, and we're going to get a bunch of random swag away, and we'll have one of my favorites is just having awards per game. Like when something random happens, we're doing some stuff with that. So
absolutely, it's going to be a good time. And for those people who are worried about the Salt City GT this year, just negotiating with the hotel. Syracuse's lost 3 venues over the last year, so it's taken a little longer than normal, but we'll be up and running for that very shortly, hopefully by the end of the week.
What's the over/under on the ceiling falling on one of your competitors?
Let's hope it's lower this year. I'm not going to go with it's a 0% possibility.
I love that he blew that off like no big deal. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, the ceiling fell on me. I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
We had the worst rainstorms ever in Syracuse, and the hotel was scheduled to get a new roof like a month and a half after that. So I was like, they were like, just to let you know that, we're getting the roof replaced. So there's like one little minor leak in a spot if it rains real bad. Well, what if it monsoons? It rains like, I don't know, an inch an hour for the day.
Oh, it was crazy.
Oh, well, that seems bad. Yeah.
I thought like it was just like the windows. When I looked the one time, I thought it was just like the windows were glazed or something. I'm like, oh, never mind. It's just rain for forever. Ah, interpretive dances. I'm excited for the tournament, by the way. Oh, is there going to be a paint competition? I don't know. That would be up to the head lead dude telling me. I'm like basically the Queen of England. I have no power whatsoever. I am just the face of the organization here.
If I can pull out a judge for it, where it's not just me and Zuber doing it, absolutely, we'll figure out something.
Yeah, I don't know at that one. You know what I mean? We do have table service, which makes me super happy on that. I'm very pumped for the event. I'm excited. I hope a lot of people come out and hang out. So it's going to be super good.
It's going to be really nice terrains made by Wayland Yutani, GW style terrain. Good stuff.
So it's going to be awesome. That's all I have to say about that. And that's all I have about North Carolina. Yeah, we'll be down there at again at Juice's place, playing at the 8th DC, I think it is. Like 8, the number 8. Mike, the tournament will be in Detroit in June. And if you don't come out to it, I'll be mad at you. So you better be flying over to me.
Yeah, Michigan's not that far from Toronto. It's not a bad ride.
It's what, 3.5 hours?
Yeah, 4 probably.
I don't know, because you can cut down. So 2 hours in a vet. That being said, everybody, I'm going to stop trying to knock off on everybody. Let's Queenswave our way out of here, my friend.
Have a good one, everybody. See you next time.